welcome to Back to Basics Bushcraft. Today I'm going to be talking about the different axes for bushcraft and some of the ones that I started with and my opinions on them. Enjoy. So the first thing you need to know when you're getting into bushcraft is that you don't need the absolute best gear to begin with. I had this cheap Gerber axe for years before I got anything else, and it served me very well. I mean, it has a razor sharp edge. You can bring it to a razor sharp edge. It doesn't come with one, and it's not the best steel in the world, but it's definitely good enough to start out with because it only costs like 20 or 30 bucks here. And then once you eventually move up, you can either get the Grand Fours Brooks, or there's a bunch of different hand-forged axes. This was actually, funny enough, the first hand-forged axe I got was a small splitting axe, and it was a gift for my birthday. And then eventually I bought this bigger one for harder tasks like building shelters and stuff, and then eventually I got this one, and this one is not actually mine, it's my brother's, who's filming right now. It's just fun. It's a little tomahawk thing. It's fun to throw around. It also, you can bring this one to a pretty razor sharp edge. Doesn't hold its edge the best, but still it's a fun little thing to throw around. As for sheaths, the Hultifours sheath is my absolute favorite. It's made out of some thick leather. It's got solid brass grommets in it, and out of everything, I'd say this one is probably the most solid sheath. The Grand Fours sheaths have a snap on them, which of course will eventually wear out from being taken on and off enough times, but I have seen some people sell better quality sheaths that you can buy online. They're like 40 bucks, so it's pretty expensive, but might be a worthwhile investment. And overall, like, these hold the absolute best edge. You can be swinging this for hours and still have a razor sharp edge at the end, as long as you don't hit any gravel or rocks or anything. That's the thing about these, is you want to be really careful about them because they are quite expensive, but if you take care of them, they do last. As for this one, I was just using it a few days ago for splitting some wood for the wood pile. I might include the time lapse in this video that I made of stacking the wood, and it's still razor sharp. I probably split 50 pieces, not too many pieces, logs up, but still it was pretty good. So as for the edge retention of all these, overall, the best edge retention I've seen of all the axes are the Grand Fours Brooks axes. You'll be able to swing these things all day and still have a razor sharp edge at the end, and they're quite easy to bring back to razor sharp edge. I can show you the tools that you'd need for it. They're pretty cheap and well worth the investment if you want to keep all your tools and knives razor sharp. These axes have been used quite a bit, and they're still in, I mean, other than for looks, they're in perfect condition. Now I'll show you the sharpening tools you'd need for it. Good investment for these tools like axes or any knives. Even if you buy a cheap axe, you're going to want to be able to sharpen it. So I went ahead and actually, I didn't buy this before. I bought all the sharpening stuff much after I bought the axes, but it's a great investment to have because I can bring my axes back to what they were like when they came out of the box. So here what I have is a few just pocket sharpening stones that I got from Lee Valley. One's a 1000 grit, works well. Another is it says it's 6,000, but Lee Valley says that it's 4,000, so that's what I'll just go with. And I mean, just even hitting it with the 4,000 makes the axe pretty much razor sharp, but I like to finish it off with the leather strop here. You don't necessarily need to, like I said, but it's always nice. It's also great to have the leather strop for knives if you want to keep them razor sharp. And I think the pair of these, you can buy them as a pair at Lee Valley for about 20 bucks from what I remember. And then the leather strop and compound kit is actually quite expensive. It's like 40 bucks for the kit, but I mean, it'll last you forever, so well worth it. As for the axes, what I'd recommend for someone who's just beginning is not necessarily sure if they want to go all in. I mean, this is the axe that I started with. It's lasted me years and it's still going strong. I gifted it to my little brother now, so he's using it. You can see the bevel on it. It used to be more of a Scandinavian grind. Now it's turned out to be convex because of the amount of times that I've re-sharpened it. Because I owned it for years without sharpening it once. So eventually, from reprofiling it and everything, I've managed to turn it into a convex grind, which holds its edge quite a bit better, I'd say. It stays razor sharp for a while. I mean, after a full day of using it, you definitely need a resharpen, and I basically just use it for starting little cooking fires and gathering wood for that. So that's what it works well for. But if I was going to suggest a good all-around axe for any activity in the woods, I would definitely suggest the Brooks Forest axe. I think it's the normal size one, not the small one. So it's a 26-inch handle, and I think a 1.5 or 2 pound head. I'm not sure, but it's really nice. Comes with a leather sheath, and I think I already mentioned this, but yeah, I accidentally hit it the first day I got it on the handle, and I just put some tape over it. You probably don't need to that, but I just did. And you can see how good a shape the edge is even in. And something that's interesting about this is that actually, normally an axe will come with like a, what do you call it? A wedge, like a metal wedge as well as the wood wedge. But I found that this one didn't come with it, and I'm surprised that it didn't. Apparently it's supposed to not come with it, but I mean, there's no wiggle or anything in the head, so you don't have to worry about that. Of course, with the plastic axes, you don't have to worry about the head coming off at all, but I don't like the feeling of the handle. Wood just dampens the vibration of hitting it so much better. But it's stuck in there. They form the handle around the head. But as for the small splitting axe, you can see that it does have the metal wedge. It's, of course, really well on there. It also comes with, it's interesting, it comes with a piece of metal around it in case you overstrike, so you don't ruin your handle like this one did. It wouldn't have saved my handle though, because it's past this, but overall, I mean, I haven't found any wood I haven't been able to split with this yet. It might be a bit tougher, but not bad. And it's for something like winter camping or hot tin camping, you're definitely going to want something maybe with more of a splitting wedge shape. So this is great for that. And the haltifors. hatchet. This is the full-size hatchet, not the mini hatchet, because the mini one was just so tiny. I like this one for just whittling and little tasks. It's good for spring and everything, to start just little fires that you need for cooking. Funny enough, they actually have the wedge in theirs, the metal wedge. I mean, this one hasn't come loose or anything either. They're all really well put together. You can see they're all the handles have seen better days. They're a bit dirty, but what can you expect for a axe that's being used, right? I almost think it looks a bit better dirty than perfectly clean. Other than that, this one is the only axe that didn't come razor sharp, and I managed to get it razor sharp, but yeah, I just thought that I'd test out the Haltifor's axes instead of the Grand Fours ones, just because it was much cheaper, and I just wanted to check out the quality, and the quality is all there, same as Grand Fours. And like I said, this sheath I'm much happier with. It's a much thicker leather, and I like the closure system it has on it, the toggle, all really solid. Yeah, I couldn't say. As for this, I don't think I'd ever want to replace the sheath on this, whereas these, I'm looking online, I'm thinking about replacing the sheath, because these are quite flimsy for how good quality the axe is. I think they'd add a better sheath, but that's okay. And finally, the little throwing tomahawk. I mean, it's a fun little thing. You could take it for some sort of little bushcraft task. You could start a little fire with it. I mean, it's got you can see how small this little head is on it. It's smaller than my thumb. It's pretty light. I mean, like I said, it's a fun activity just to throw it around a bit when you're at a camp and just bored. One thing that it's not my favorite about it is I wish that it would not have this spike, because I find that I've never used the spike, whereas I would have loved to have some sort of face to bang tent pegs in, or something like that. So it does have this weird thing on the side, but that'll never replace the pull of the back of an axe. So that's my thoughts on that. Other than that, it's I like that the Grand Fours axes do have the Smith's initials put into the axe head. I find that to be pretty interesting, so you can kind of see who made your axe and all that. But other than that, I think that is all the points that I have on these. If you have any questions, just leave your questions in the comments, and I'll try my best to answer them. Yeah, okay. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and have a great day. Bye.